Hi everyone, I'm Jaylene with your monthly field forecast for the month of June 2026. So the theme of this month is you are not alone, and that could never be more true and easy to feel than the month of June. We approach the summer solstice, and all solstices, whether you're in the northern or southern hemisphere, whether it's your winter or summer, they represent a time of alignment of energies, usually to our galactic center. They represent a time of activation and an influx of an incredible amount of light. Whether you are at winter or summer, it doesn't matter. It brings in a lot of new energy and new light at the solstice each time we come around to it every 6 months. So this solstice is no exception. We are going to be ushering in a lot of light. This past month, we have felt so much galactic energy around us. I mentioned that in my last update, that many of our star family relatives are very close in proximity to us. So you may have felt that during the month of May as feeling like you had energies around you. You may have noticed peculiar behavior of animals around you. You may have had a lot of synchronicities and things lining up. And that is because the energy field has really shifted into a frame of reference where we are becoming more aware. We are becoming more multidimensional. And that has everything to do with how the energies around the planet have changed, and that is to our benefit. But of course, it takes us a little while to acclimate. So we are always going through this acclimation process. The way that guides like to describe it to me is that we are moving from becoming or existing as more particle, and we are moving into becoming more wave. So literally, light is either showing up as particle or wave, and humans have been more particle, and we're moving to a frame of reference of being more wave. And as we do that, our abilities and our reference point for reality changes quite a bit. So that's what's happening to all of us. Our reference points for reality are changing. As we approach the solstice, the energy that we're experiencing right now is going to continue to increase. The new moon in the middle of May, I have to say, brought in a lot of releasing, followed by a lot of energy of building and fullness. So at the full moon at the end of May, which is also a blue moon, we had this incredibly full energy, which is carrying over into the beginning of June. So here we find ourselves in the beginning of June, and what we're experiencing is the halo effect of that very full energy of the full moon. And that full energy is really a reminder that we have many spirits and galactics around us. So in addition to all that galactic energy we had in May, now we have a lot of energy from our angelic connections and helpers. And I'd like to reference what angels have always been described to me by my guides, because I think it's helpful and useful. Angels really are us, all of us, when we get to a certain stage of development on the other side. So we know that we come to Earth to have many different lifetimes of experience. We're gaining experience. We are part of the source field that is seeking to know itself through experience. So we are representations of that experience and feeding data back to our soul to provide information and understanding about experience. So we're all part of the God body. We're all part of source. We're all part of the knowing of the everything. There's no separation from it, really. But when we come here, of course, we feel very separate. And that is definitive, and it's helpful for us to have experiences that are very palpable, that we feel, that we have emotions, and we have very strong reactions to and responses to, because that creates a lot of information and energy that we accumulate to understand what it is to be alive, what it is to be a soul, what it is to exist, and what existence means. And so along that trajectory, we develop as we have life and experience. We develop, we come to know ourselves, we come to understand what it means to be alive, we come to understand what it means to help others, why we're here, why we might want to help others, what it means to help others, and how that impacts us and how we learn about ourselves. And along that path, we develop and we grow and we begin to be of service. And as that happens, we would then be categorized on Earth as angels when we step into service, into that role. And that's the way my guides have always explained it to me. As you as a soul evolve, grow, and move into service, you then become angelic. You are one that is in pursuit of helping other souls to develop and grow and become. And we're all moving down that same stream of becoming. And so there are a lot of helpers around us at this time. And that really is part of the fact that the veil is thinning. That is one way to describe it. I would say also that the energy field is accelerating in the frequencies. So the frequencies that are here, when they accelerate and things move faster, again, that's moving from particle to wave, and our awareness shifts. And as our awareness shifts, we have more understanding and more experiences of a multidimensional type. And so we start to feel our soul family around us. We start to recognize that we're not alone. We have that feeling of fullness. So that's the feeling of fullness that they're talking about. That is going to persist throughout the beginning of this month until we get about to the middle of the month. When we get to the middle of the month, we're going to transition into feelings of intensity because we're getting very close to the solstice. And the solstice, again, represents a portal. It's a portal of alignment, but it's a portal of newness coming in. And so a lot of fire connected to the solstice, whether, again, you're in the northern hemisphere or the southern hemisphere, whether it's your winter or your summer, there's a lot of fire associated with the solstice and a lot of new energy coming in. So as that new energy comes in, it feels like a lot to our nervous system. And so one of the things that's going to be important to do this month is to practice emotional steadiness and neutrality. So if you know what I mean, neutrality is really being quite present in any situation and staying an observer to watch, to listen, to respond compassionately, but not in a overly positive or overly negative way. Remain neutral, because there's going to be a lot of big emotions that are going to surface around the middle of the month of June and towards the solstice and lightening up at the very end of the month. But there's going to be a lot of emotions that are coming out around the 15th to the 20th. So it's a good time to practice your emotional steadiness and neutrality. And remember, neutrality is not evasiveness. It is not looking the other way. It's not ignoring things. It's actually being quite present and responding with compassion and love, but not with sort of an inflated emotional response where you hype up the energy or you make the stress any greater. You want to really breathe into situations. And there's going to be some big stuff that happens. Portals, such as solstices, are times where there can be a lot of transition. You may be in the process of losing a loved one right now. You may be in the process of welcoming in a new loved one. Either way, these portals are transition sites. And so they are opportunities for souls to come and go. And the souls that are coming into the planet right now are very special. They're very particular. They're coming in to continue to usher in these new frequencies that we're experiencing. Because what happens in the field is that when the new frequencies come in from our galactic connections, Sirius and other suns, what happens is that the human body starts to respond. Well, we have DNA of a particular vibrational speed. That is changing, yes. But the adaptation period is a bit slower than if you come in as a new child and your DNA is already vibrating at a higher speed. And when that happens, the reflection back into the field from those new beings that are coming in is going to be quite different from the beings that are already here. So any child that came in probably within the last 5 years and that is currently here and that will come in the next many, I don't know, you could say in the next decade, are going to have a very special frequency for this acceleration of transition that we're going through. So obviously humans are always transitioning all the time. That is not under question. So it's not, when people say, why do you say we're changing? We're always changing. Of course we're changing. It's a law of the universe. Yes, that's true. It's the rate of change that we're going through right now. It's the acceleration that is so different right now. So the acceleration is very high. And so the change will occur more rapidly than the human body and the human you could say, biofield and awareness and consciousness is used to. So it can be a little bit alarming, and it can cause stress, and it can cause high emotions. And so you can expect those to happen later this month. But as long as you stay steady, you stay neutral, you stay grounded, make sure you get outside in nature and do the things that bring you into a state of peace. Swim in the ocean if you're close to an ocean or a lake or any body of water that you can get into. It's very important, even if you're in a winter climate. Get into the water. Let that help bring in neutrality and calm for you. There's a lot of help that the water can do to just allow you to release and let go of things that aren't there, that are ready to release, that don't need to be with you anymore. It can be very calming for you. So highly recommend that. I also recommend that during this time that something that guides have shared is that the heart language is going to become the international language. And that means speaking from your heart, feeling from your heart, and operating from your heart. This is going to become increasingly important because if you think about it, in the higher octaves of dimension, it's not that there is no contrast. It's not that there is no what we would call good versus evil or good and bad. But it is just that it becomes a more intentional space. So if we want to create from the heart and have a world that is more heart-centered and is a reflection of our true heart, which is connection and joy and community and peace, if we want those things, then we need to speak those things through our own vibrational field, through our own voice. So that becomes a language that we can all communicate with each other. And it becomes more and more important as the field continues to become more accessible into the multidimensional realms. It becomes the new way of life, really the new way of thinking, the new way of expressing. So the guides have recommended that we all spend time each day thinking, how can I speak from my heart? How can I speak from a place of compassion? How can I stop any negative self-talk? Because by the way, the first person you should be compassionate with is yourself. So please start there so that then it's easier for you to reflect out to the rest of the world your compassionate heart, because you at least are giving that to yourself and you can reflect it out to the world. The other thing that's going to happen this month as the energies shift is that we are going to be exposed to more and more truths. That will occur to you both in your personal life and on the greater world stage. So on the greater world stage, we will be exposed to information. I mean, it's hard to imagine that more of this stuff is going to come to light, because so much has already come to light that, has shocked a lot of people. But it's going to continue. And with the solstice, the energies that are going to come in are really going to be shining a big flashlight on not only the world stage, but also on your personal life. So if there's some areas in your life where things are, you could say, duplicitous, or things are under wraps, or things that should be revealed have been hidden, those things are going to start coming out towards the middle and towards the end of this month. They're going to start making themselves known, being revealed to you. And that will be yet another opportunity for you to stay in emotional neutrality, because some of these things could be quite upsetting. Some of them actually could be revelations that are exciting, and you could have new opportunities that you didn't realize were there. It's almost like things that were in the dark and were hidden now become seen and revealed. That is the message that the guides gave me. So that's pretty exciting. Along with nurturing the heart energy and staying steady in our emotions, they also emphasize that in June there's going to be a lot of divine feminine, divine masculine rebalancing. So on this planet, we operate in contrast. We operate with masculine, feminine, good, bad, black, white, what have you. And other planetary systems, as they describe it to me, they don't think of nurturing energy, creation energy as feminine, and outward expression energy and sun and expansion as masculine. They just think of it in those terms that I just described it as, in the way it's described. They think of creation energy, and they think of expression energy, and they think of outward flow, and they think of inward flow, and they think of times of going inward in order that you might go outward. But they seem to have this push and pull, this balance going on all the time. The receiving and the giving. The receiving and the giving is continually occurring in the higher dimensional realms. And so they encourage all of us to also sort of reframe what we think of just as feminine and masculine, because that alienates half of the population if you think, oh, I'm not going to emphasize my masculine side because I'm a woman and I want to be more soft and compassionate. And then you might think as a man, well, I don't want to emphasize my feminine side because that doesn't feel in balance either. But let's let go of those definitions and let's just think about what those two energies represent. This month, there will be a feeling of wanting to go inward in order to charge your battery so that you will go outward as the energy tips at the 15th and starts moving towards the solstice, because there's going to be a big thrust of energy moving projects and ideas and other things forward for you. So there's going to be a lot of perhaps that divine masculine flow, but it needs to be nurtured in the creative spirit and in the cauldron in the beginning of the month. And so that's a good thing to focus on at this moment, is creation and nurturing your spirit. Really, they talk about you as the creative vessel. And so let's talk about nurturing you. What can you do for yourself right now that helps you to feel more aligned, more balanced, more cared for, more loved, more recognized, more seen, more heard? How can you honor that within yourself so that you charge your own batteries? Because you are the vehicle of the metamorphosis. You are the change. So once you are activated by the solstice, your batteries, which have then been charged, are now ready to radiate out into the world and participate in your becoming, which is the becoming of all of us. Nothing happens in a vacuum. My becoming is your becoming, and vice versa. So we all feed into each other's experience and the expansion of the human civilization, which truly actually is the Earth civilization, which is the galactic civilization, and so on. And we are evolving as a species that is evolving as part of a system of energy that is known as our Earth, that is evolving as our solar system, and our solar system's rebalancing. And as that happens, it continues to assist our galaxy in rebalancing, and that helps for the assistance in our galaxy and the energies of Andromeda to merge and to align with each other, which brings about an incredible amount of expansion for all of us. So there's a huge picture happening at the big level and also at the microscopic level. So what are areas of of your life are having the light shown on them so that you can take a better look at them and so that you can feed and nurture them, honoring your own creative spirit, honoring the divine feminine within yourself so that you can then be in your greatest divine feminine flow later this month? How can all of these things exist within you at the same time, and how can you honor all of them and honor each other through the language of the heart, speaking compassionately while staying emotionally neutral if possible, spending time with the earth, spending time outdoors, spending time with those whom you love, and remembering that you are not doing this alone. You have a lot of support around you. You've got angels and you've got galactics. There are so many beings that are cheering you on, and they're here to honor you. So if you're going through a difficult time right now, if you are helping a loved one transition, remember you don't have to do it alone. You can call in for help. Please, please call in for your angels to assist you. Ask them to help you in your time of need. Ask them to surround you. Ask them to help remind you what it feels like to be loved and to be nurtured if that isn't part of your reality. Reach out to help from a friend if you need it. Don't suffer alone. This is not a time of loneliness. This is not a time to be alone. This is a time to remember that community is part of your experience here and that you're always in community as a soul. Whether you are in a system of Earth that feels separate or not, you always have community around you. You always have your angels with you. And that's what their message is to you this month. So I thank you for listening. And if you would like to connect with me more, I am hosting a wonderful retreat in Mount Shasta at the end of at the end of July. And in that retreat, we're going to be connecting with our angels and our galactic friends. We're going to be going up onto the mountain. We're going to be doing star watches, and we're going to be practicing and learning all about how to heighten our intuition and become more multidimensional so that we can have all of these great connections. So if you're interested, check out my website under the retreats tab and you can see all about Mount Shasta. I'm also going to Egypt later this year as well. You can check that out. But would love to have you join me on one of my adventures out into the field. It's a great way to connect, to create community, and it's also a great way to practice with friends, heighten our intuition, and connect with our loved ones in spirit, with our galactic friends, and with the energies of the earth. All right, thanks for listening. Have a great and wonderful beginning of your month. I'll be back again with more updates as we go. Bye for now.